Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope all of you are having an outstanding week so far. Students, in this class we are looking at an IELTS Task 2 writing assignment. This is either for the academic or the general IELTS. The Task 2 writing is really similar for both. The topic of this writing is, should we stop flying using airplanes? The class is coming from aehelp.com for academic IELTS. Visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. Welcome, Usaid. Nice to see you in class, Anna. Good to have our members. Welcome, Zurislava. Abademi, nice to have so many students. Parmar, good to have you here with us. Students, the General IELTS website looks like this with the green background. To join our premium students and use our full website and app, click the big red button that's right there. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. Just right over there. We are an IDP affiliate, a British Council partner, and IELTS Test Registration Center. And we help thousands of students every single week to improve their English and prepare for their upcoming IELTS tests. It is a one-time payment for lifetime access. Costs about 30 to 50 bucks US, very affordable. And you will have access to 2 additional live classes each week. For the academic IELTS, visit us at aehelp.com. It's the blue background here. Again, just click that big red button right over there. It's definitely worth your time investment, and you'll save lots by not sitting the IELTS exam 3-4 times. For those of you who are premium users, there are premium classes on Thursdays and Fridays. Check out these links, students, to see what those classes look like. I just put that into the chat. Everybody, I'm looking at the chat. I'm looking at your questions, and I will be looking at your sentences as we get going on this Task 2 essay assignment. We have a brand new discount code and a brand new video for you. The code is GO9TODAY. It will give you extra 10% off on the websites. And it will also give you access to the apps on your mobile, Academic IELTS Help, General IELTS Help. And for those of you who like to scroll through Instagram, check us out at IELTS_AEHelp and GIELTS Help. And of course, smash that like button and definitely subscribe to the channel to know when classes are happening. If you have any questions, send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. We like to get questions. We like to help. So just let us know. Right now, it's going to be Task 2 writing, full essay coming up. And then tomorrow, it will be speaking here on YouTube. We will use Zoom, so you can get kind of a taste of what those premium Zoom classes feel like. And for those of you who are wanting to practice more speaking this week, definitely again check out this brand new video with Al Saba. She does an amazing job on her speaking. I'll drop that link, and she asked some very good questions at the end of the interview as well for IELTS test takers. So that link again is in the chat. Check it out. Juan, thank you for that good morning super chat donation of 500 Argentinian, what is it? It's not rupees. I'm trying to remember what the currency is in Argentina. You'll help me out, I'm sure. All right. Okay, students, pesos, of course. Pesos. How do I forget that? It must be the morning here for me. All right. So let's get into this Task 2 writing. Students, Task 2 writing is 40 minutes long. So your writing section is an hour total, 20 minutes for Task 1, 40 minutes for Task 2. They're weighted according to that time. So Task 1 is about 1/3 of your writing mark, and Task 2 is 2/3. I recommend starting with Task 1. You can start with Task 2, but I suggest starting with Task 1. It should be the easier task, and it should get you kind of warmed up for Task 2. I believe this was a question that appeared on a past IELTS exam. It was submitted by a student as a practice task 2. I believe it was Murasa. She's been very studious. It's a good question, so we thought we'd use it for today's class. Okay. Amader, you're going to see exactly what you need to do for task 2 in this class today. Okay. All right, Deborah, good to see you. We've got some students who have returned and we haven't seen in a while. Nice to see you as well, Deborah. Okay, so students, task 2, let's go through this. Let's work together. Please communicate to me through the chat. Writing is the name of the game in this class, so that's what we're going to do. You get to your task 2. And the first step, of course, in the writing section, even in task 1, is just slow down, okay? The reading section can kind of encourage candidates to start panicking and reading really quickly, but it's really important that you take a nice big deep breath as you start the writing section, and remember that, okay, I don't have a lot to read, so whatever I'm reading, I need to read carefully and really pay attention. Okay. All right. So let's do that. Welcome, Carolina, our chat moderator. Everybody, you will see Carolina in blue. She's here to help us as well with questions and to make this class go smoothly. So let's read this question and then we'll get right into it. So again, you should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Some people have decided to reduce the number of times they fly every year or stop flying altogether. Maybe it's a choice. Maybe it's just because plane tickets are so expensive today, but yeah, that's probably true. Okay. And then the rest of the question here is, do you think the environmental benefits of this development outweigh the disadvantages for individuals and businesses? So this question's got a few elements, a few pieces to it, and you need to write at least, okay, at least 250 words. I get this question all the time. Do they count the words? Yes, they do. Okay, if you have less than 250 words, you start losing marks for incomplete task. If you write 250 words and they're really well written, you're probably going to be in the band 7, maybe 7.5 band range. And if you write closer to 300, 320 words with some really good writing, that's when you can get into the band 8, band 9, okay? 250 is the minimum, right? Students ask me, can I go over that? Absolutely. And a lot of times you might need to, especially with complicated questions, right? This one's kind of one of those more complex questions, okay? All right, so the very first step when you look at this question is to paraphrase the question. That means state the question in your own words. Okay. Now, some people think that's your introductory paragraph, and it could be a part of it, but it's not really your introduction. Okay, your introduction's a bit more than that. And for IELTS writing task 2, you have to just follow standard English essay rules. Okay, so these are not my ideas. These are standard rules in English essay writing and literature that I've learned in middle school, high school, college, university. And this is what you're expected to be able to do when you attend university or start a profession in many parts of the world, many English-speaking countries. Okay. All right, so let's do this. I see some of you are already paraphrasing, and that's fantastic. I'm going to do the same, and then we'll take a look at a couple paraphrasings in the chat as well. Okay, so some people have decided to reduce the number of times they fly every year or to stop flying altogether. We can say certain individuals have chosen to minimize the amount of air travel, right, instead of flying annually. And I'm doing this with you, so I'm not, you know, I didn't prepare this. I'm just kind of thinking of the words. And you just want to do the best that you can. Your goal should be about 70% paraphrasing at least, okay? Or to discontinue getting on a plane at all, okay? And then the second part, I'm just going to roll that in here. Do you think the environmental benefits of this development outweigh the disadvantages for individuals or businesses? When you get good at paraphrasing, rather than paraphrasing word by word, you should try to think about the paraphrasing as a full concept or full phrase, okay? So, do you believe that the advantages for nature are more than the negatives for people and companies? Okay, question mark. Okay. So that's my paraphrase. Now, what I would recommend that you do, especially in task 2, don't rush, especially at the beginning. A strong start to your essay is definitely the right way to do this. It's the same concept that I explained last week with the reading, where I said that basically you want to make sure that you have some really clear ideas, some good answers before you start writing quickly, okay? Rushing into these questions is not a good idea. All right, and just to make sure you're on the right track, read the original question, read the paraphrase. So some people have decided to reduce the number of times they fly every year or to stop flying altogether. Do you think the environmental benefits of this development outweigh the disadvantages for individuals and businesses? Okay, I think I got it. Certain individuals have chosen to minimize the amount of air travel annually or to discontinue getting on planes at all. Okay, maybe a missing S there. Do you believe the advantages for nature are more than the negatives for people and companies? Okay, I feel pretty good about that. I've collected some nice vocabulary for the essay. My brain is starting to turn. I'm starting to get some ideas. Let's see what some of your classmates have written for this. So let's see. Amanjot. Amanjot says millions of individuals have made the decision to decrease the frequency they travel through air. I would change the through to via air per year, or indeed completely put it, nice try, on hold. Put a hold on it? Yeah, that's okay. Put a hold on it. I would say put it on hold is even better. What are the advantages to the environment due to this development? And let's finish this Amanjot. Does this outweigh the negatives for people and businesses? Sure. Okay, so a couple of corrections or even suggestions there, Amanjot, but otherwise pretty good. Okay. Anna, let's take a look. So Anna says, some individuals think to decline. You don't need to think. Some individuals decline frequent flights. Ooh, it's nice use of words. Just simplify. Flights. And some have stopped flying altogether. What do you think do you think, Okay, let's take the what out. Do you think the environmental advantages exceed the drawbacks for humans and their businesses? Okay, now we've got a nice, tight, concise paraphrase there, Anna. Very nice. Okay, good job. So just a few corrections there. Juan, also a good start. Juan says part of the population took the initiative of flying less. We don't need fewer times, just less each year, or just not to fly at all. Okay, and then of course you need that second part here, Juan, of do the advantages for the environment outweigh the disadvantages for individuals and people? Okay, good. So we're on the right track. Now, students, the next step, so once you have the paraphrase for the question, the next step is to clearly identify the topic. One of the most common mistakes students make on the IELTS is they go off topic. They write off topic. And even if you have a really good essay, if you're off topic, it's not going to work. So what's the topic here? What are we talking about here? So what's the topic of discussion, debate here? And then, of course, as many of you are realizing, the controlling idea is, of course, the next step. Yeah, Tatiana, very nice. Good to see you. So many students in the class today. Lovely, lovely. Tatiana, that was the right answer. That was the right answer. It's not air travel. It's not just air travel here, the topic. The topic here is less air travel. Less air travel. Yeah, exactly, Gulhan. Reducing hours of air travel. Refusing to fly, Tatiana, for sure. Yep, those are all good, right? So less air travel. We're talking about not flying as much. Okay. So more important for environmental reparation, or bad for people, right? That's the controlling idea. Even if you're not going to do a lot of detailed planning on your main points, at least get to this level of consideration before you begin writing an essay, whether that's for IELTS or for university or whatever. You should not write an essay until you have reached this stage of your planning, okay? It's very risky, okay? So I'm just going to give you that tip. So tip, without paraphrasing and identifying the topic and controlling idea, it is a very bad idea to start writing, as you run the risk of writing off topic. And then really you're kind of losing band scores before you even start. So you don't need to make spelling and grammar mistakes or word choice mistakes because you're already off topic. In IELTS, it's going to land you with a bad band score. In university, that's going to land you with a failed essay or with a failed piece of paper. And let's not even think about what that can lead to in your workplace. Okay? All right. So keep that in mind. Okay. Some students are really, freaked out during the writing section. They're rushing and they just jump right in and they start writing advantages, disadvantages. Suddenly they're writing about traveling by car, plane, train. They're not even focused on the plane anymore. And then they get back an essay that's like a band 5. Okay. All right. So make sure to get to this stage. Okay. Yeah, Pachu, that's right. People will be in a hurry, right? Okay. So once you have this, you can think about what that means, right? And so when you think about the topic like less air travel, what is less air travel? So what does this mean? In your thoughts, when somebody says travel less by air, what does that actually mean? So 50% reduction, just once a year maximum. Okay, so what does that actually mean, right? And why? So when we reduce the amount of air travel, why would we do that? So what does the reduction of air travel do? Give me some thoughts. Again, students, I'm watching your chat, and good thinking can get you a long way, and it's one of the easiest ways to get band scores with some good ideas. So I've got your messages right here. What does that do? Okay. So Anna says right away, reduces CO2 and noise pollution. Yeah. Okay. To reduce CO2, which is carbon dioxide, of course. Probably the other way would have been better. Carbon dioxide, CO2 in brackets, but we'll do it this way. Carbon dioxide, fossil fuel, right? Another word there. Noise pollution. Yeah. And very good, Jaspreet. Jaspreet says another way we can say that is less carbon footprint. So we've got some very nice vocabulary coming up here. Exactly. Less air pollution. Okay. Very nice. Okay. Very nice. Alexander says it could improve ecological situations, reduce oil prices. Okay. And how? So how can we reduce air travel? Give me some thoughts there, students. What are some steps that we can do to reduce air travel? A couple jump into mind right away, and I'm sure it will for you also. So what can we do? Exactly, Amanjad. Amanjad says use other modes. Go by train, boat, or car, right? Exactly. Justpreet says increasing ticket prices. I think that's happening, Justpreet. What else? There's another way, and a lot of us are actually doing this. It jumps into my mind, especially when I think of business. It's good to kind of think ahead to the controlling idea. Tatiana says switch to local tourism. Yeah. We also sometimes now call that staycations instead of a vacation. Yeah, exactly. Alexander says do it online, right? Could you imagine if all of you would have flown to Victoria, Canada today for this class? I think we would definitely be doing a little bit more harm to the environment if 60, how many people? I think there's about 81. So if all 81 of us got on a plane today to Canada, Victoria, that would burn a bit of jet fuel for sure, right? It'd be nice to have all of you sitting here with me in a class, but ultimately, one says it would have been fun, but we definitely would have burnt through a few gallons of jet fuel doing it. Okay. So another way that we can do it is use the internet. Okay, virtual meetings. Okay, good. Now, the controlling idea, right? Is it better to reduce flights and save the environment, or is it more critical that we keep traveling through the air as much as we like or as much as we need to, and do it that way? So sometimes students try to decide right away, like what are the advantages and what are the negatives. In the IELTS exam, you might not have enough time to write all this down, although it's not a bad idea. You will probably use most of it in your essay, right? Now, oftentimes when you think of the what, why, how for the topic, you're also thinking about the what, why, how for the controlling idea. So here we kind of thought about the environment already and how we're helping the environment. So what about people? So what are the benefits for people and for business? We might as well roll it into one. And for business to travel by plane. Okay, so what are the benefits? What are we losing? Think about it that way. What are we losing if we don't travel by plane? I've got a couple of ideas, right? So what are we losing by not flying? Marilta says time. Yeah, absolutely. So time is precious. People may lose much time on travel. Sure. Okay. What else? Resham says it could be expensive. Maybe. Yeah. Time is valuable. Hathu says protect health. I'm not sure. You'd have to explain that one a bit more. I'm not sure how that one goes into it. Okay. Zaxro, very good experience. Okay. So visiting other cultures and meeting people face to face if you opt to do online. Right? Okay, so now that we've thought about this, we can write our essay. And you can write it on the supportive side, that the benefits for the environment are more than the disadvantages. Or you could write it the other way, and you could say that the disadvantages for people and businesses outweigh the negatives for the environment. So you've got two options here for this question, really. And again, for those of you who missed it, this is the original question. Some people have decided to reduce the number of times they fly every year or to stop flying altogether. Do you think the environmental benefits of this development outweigh the disadvantages for businesses and individuals? So basically, you've got option one. Please don't write both, not on the IELTS, okay? It doesn't make sense. It's not a good essay to write. It's way too long. You can't get all the ideas in, and it's wishy-washy. There's no clear opinion. So you have to choose one of two opinions here. So benefits for the environment do outweigh the negatives for people and business. Or option two, the benefits for the environment do not outweigh the negatives for people and business. Okay? So basically you've got a choice of two. Okay, that's it. Don't, okay, students, I'm really cautioning you. Do not go with a third or other option for this type of essay. It will be too difficult to write it in 250 words and 40 minutes sensibly. Okay? Everybody got that? So either option one Or option 2, there is no other option. There is, but not a good choice. Okay. All right. Juan's already thinking about examples. Very good, Juan. Juan says, like when COVID happened and people stopped flying and the ozone layer started healing. Absolutely. Okay. All right. So you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to say it's a less of a benefit for the environment. I'm going to play devil's advocate here, Juan. I'm not going to go with the benefits outweigh the disadvantages. I'm going to go with no. It's the benefit. I'm going for option 2. Simply said, the benefits for the environment do not outweigh the negatives. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so just for fun, but you know, I challenge you, write option 1, see how you do. Send it to us. You can always send your task to essays to our email here, admin@aehelp.com, and premium users get a free band score estimate. So if you decide to write option 1, you want to know what your band score is. Step number 1, again, one of the many perks, join the premium version of the class at aehelp.com or at glshelp.com, and then we'll send you as many free band score estimates with a couple little tips as you like. The rest is up to you. Okay. All right. So I will go with the choice of they do. Do you know? So here's a good question. Why? Why do you think I'm choosing option 2? Anybody have an idea? So I said, okay, I'm going to go with option 2 here after I planned and thought about it. The benefits for the environment do not outweigh the negatives. Why am I choosing option 2? Risham says it's rare. Juan says it's more original. No, there's actually a much simpler reason. Okay. Ariadna, thank you. Very smart, Ariadna. Ariadna says, I think it's easier. Yeah. When I did the planning, so when I looked at the topic and the controlling idea, right, there are 2 very clear points that jumped out for that opposite argument. Lose much time and lose experience. Okay, and in my opinion, those 2 points, the lose time and lose experience for business and individuals, is easier to write about than writing about saving the environment through reducing carbon emissions with taking flights. I when I think about it, I just feel like this is going to be an easier essay to write. Yeah, and a couple of you picked up on that. You're like, yeah, I think that might be easier. Okay, on the IELTS, they don't mark you on your opinion. They mark you on your writing. Super important, right? Everybody got it? So always choose the easy option on IELTS. And that sometimes might not be the one that you truly believe, ironically, but save those opinions for university, for the media, for the press, for social media. The IELTS essay, the only person that will see that essay is you, the marker, and maybe one other person if you get a remark. Okay, after that, nobody else is going to see that essay. So always go with the easy choice on IELTS. The only person to read your essay is you and the exam marker. Okay, right? And think about it. If airplanes go, I don't know, solar panel or whatever, they have those with the solar paneled wings, then you're going to be right anyway. Okay, so first step here is we're going to do the introduction. Okay. So introduction here. Basically 3 parts. It's the hook, the background, and the thesis. Okay, now we should have our thesis ready. I kind of do in my head with losing time and experience. Okay. So I'm going to start with my hook. The hook is going to be a very simple sentence that introduces the topic. Okay, so less flights. Okay. And Juan, if you think of something really clever like the ozone layer, that might make an okay hook to catch the reader. Okay. All right. So the hook. Okay. Flying less has become a trend over the past half decade. That's going to be my hook right there. I'm going to stop using bold here as well. There we go. Simple, to the point, makes the reader curious. If I really, think about this, review it, maybe I will write global trend, right? So flying less has become a global trend over the past half decade. What does that mean? Okay, so now comes the background. Definition of terms. Now, students, here, write with me, and while you're doing that, I'm going to answer Amanjot's question. Amanjot says, Adrian, I did not understand the experience point. Well, when you fly to another country, Amanjot, or another place, you get to see other kinds of animals, plant life. Maybe that will inspire you to be more environmentally active as well, to save nature, to care for nature. You also meet other people, other cultures, which helps conflict resolution, empathy. With businesses, you also get to meet potential business partners face to face, get a real sense of trust, camaraderie. Risham says you learn about history, historical places. So a lot of content there. Again, careful students, you have only 40 minutes. You can't write about all of that, okay? But that's the experiential part of this equation. Okay, everybody good? All right. Let's keep moving. So flying less has become a global trend over the past half decades or decade. What does that mean? Rather than flying multiple times each year, people now often choose staycations or to conduct business virtually. Okay, that's my background, right? So I give that kind of definition of what it means to fly less. And then here I'm going to introduce the counter argument right away, right, which is the environment. While this may, and I'm going to, let's call this our thesis already. Okay, so again, students, just to be clear, this is not Adrian method. Okay, this is standard English literature. This is what your teachers should be teaching you when you're learning task 2. Okay, they shouldn't be teaching you tricks and tips or special structures for the IELTS exam. They should just simply be strengthening your English essay writing skills, okay, for IELTS and for other purposes like school, university, work. Okay, while this may reduce air and noise pollution, I believe these benefits do not outweigh the negatives for people and businesses who lose time and experience. Okay? So I'm kind of personifying business here with the who, but yeah, I'll go with that. Okay. So that's my thesis. So this is my introduction. Students, I highly recommend rereading each paragraph as you write it, okay? So don't review each sentence, but review each paragraph as you finish writing it. So right now, here is my paragraph, okay? Flying less has become a global trend over the past half decade. Rather than flying multiple times each year, people now often choose staycations or to conduct business virtually. While this may reduce air and noise pollution, I believe these benefits do not outweigh the negatives for people and businesses who lose time and experience. I guarantee you that that kind of an introduction will put you on track for a high band score, like band 8, band 9. Okay? Let's see what you have in the chat. Any part of the essay, students, is working in the right direction. So whether you're writing the hook, the background, the thesis, just get writing, okay? Tatiana writes, air travel is known and preferred by almost everyone, despite the fact that planes pollute the atmosphere with burned jet fuel. Reducing the amount of flying time harms humanity in terms of losing time and experience. Yeah, and valuable assets is okay, Tatiana. You can include that in the body of the conclusion. Emphasize it. Juan writes, again, I'm looking at the chat here and giving just some feedback. Okay. So Juan writes, even though this may help the environment, I believe the benefits of traveling by plane. Yeah, and that's a good way to look at it, Juan, from the positive. And then explaining that those outweigh the benefits to the environment, right? Amanjot writes, millions of individuals use air travel to locate from one nation to the other for study, work, and environmental purposes. Or entertainment purposes. Amanjot, you're way off topic. Okay, I'm having to infer the question with yours. So that's the danger, Amanjot. That's a good example of what you do not want to do. Okay. Murasa writes, I do not believe that the environmental advantages of this action outweigh the disadvantages for people and businesses because travel enhances the economy of a nation and enables people to learn. Kind of going off topic there, Murasa. I'm not feeling a good specific reflection of the question there. It's kind of like a bit removed. Okay, so careful. All right, so I have my 2 points, right? So I have the loss of time and the loss of experience. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my body paragraph. Okay, and the body paragraph will have a topic sentence, explanation, example, maybe a connecting sentence. We'll see. Those are not critical. Now the topic sentence, students, it's point number 1 with a bit more explanation, right? So very easy in this case. Traveling by air is much faster than any other mode of transportation, like car, boat, or train. Although some trains are getting pretty fast. Okay. So here is my topic sentence, and I know it's very clear, and I know the examiner knows this, but I'm stating this so that they know that I know that they know that I know that they know that I know. No, really it is. It's finding that empathy, that connection with your reader. Sometimes students think that stating the obvious is not necessary, and then what happens is there are these gaps in their ideas and their essays. And guess what you lose when that happens? What do you think, students? So if you don't state the obvious sometimes in an essay and make the reader realize that their thinking is the same as your thinking, or actually make them think about that idea, what do you think happens? What kind of a score do you lose if you have gaps in your thinking and the reader is not really following what you're trying to express? You're going to lose, that's right, coherence marks. And coherence is key to a good score. You can have perfect English with perfect spelling and grammar, but if you don't have coherence, you're getting a low score. Okay? So, traveling by air is much faster than any other mode of transportation like car, boat, or train. Especially for international and intercontinental commutes. Flying by plane takes only several hours, as where going with another mode can take days or even weeks. Okay, so there we go. We've got a clear definition. And then here, of course, we have to keep in mind the controlling idea. So what does that mean for individuals, businesses, and what does that mean for the environment, right? So this loss of time can be detrimental to companies for staying viable. Okay. Staying viable means like being able to stay in business, okay, or being able to operate, make enough money to survive, right? So this loss of time can be detrimental to companies for staying viable. And if companies go bankrupt and the economy suffers, often nature does too. Because people extort natural resources to make up for the losses. Okay. Now, I mean, that's a bit extreme, but that's where my brain went with this. So, humans are interesting. When we have financial difficulties, the first fix or first solution that we often look at is how can we regain that loss of profit or economy from nature. And unfortunately, we can see that in Canada very, very clearly. And if some of you live in these bigger countries, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, where companies will say, okay, well, let's just cut out some more trees. Let's sell some more oil. We probably do that anyway, but at least here it makes a good argument, right? Okay. Now, if you're not happy with your writing, you can always go back, reread, and change it. Let's see how I'm doing so far. Traveling by air is much faster than any other mode of transportation, like car, boat, or train, especially for international and intercontinental commutes. Flying by plane takes only several hours, as where going with another mode can take days or even weeks. This loss of time can be detrimental to companies for staying viable. See, I'm going to change that. Companies' viability. let's make that possessive. And companies go bankrupt and the economy suffers. Often nature does too. Because people extort natural resources to make up for the losses. Okay. Amanjad says, Adrian, I believe the first body paragraph must be related to air and noise pollution, but I'm not sure. I'd love to take your advice. No, Amanjad, it definitely doesn't, because I'm not arguing for that. I'm arguing for the benefits to the environment do not outweigh the negatives to people, right? So that's my argument. And then here, I'm going to give an example, okay? Ironically, when Air Canada was doing poorly, the Canadian government subsidized by selling softwood lumber to foreign countries, which is actually true. It's a terrible but true example. It's like flying less actually led to cutting down trees. I just thought about that. I was kind of thinking of the past history of Canada here with some of our use of natural resources. Okay, and that's about it. I've got a lot more ideas that I could write for this paragraph, but for now I don't want to do that because I'm going to run out of time. I don't mean for this class, I mean in IELTS for task 2. Okay, so that's my example. So I've got my topic sentence, I've got my explanation, I've got my example, and I'm not going to write a connecting sentence because I think that if I write a good topic sentence here, I can just connect. So body 2 is same as body 1 but with point 2. And in this case, that's the experience. Okay. All right. Parmar writes, traveling by air is more faster than car. Parmar never combined more and er, the relative form of the word. It's one or the other. So traveling by air is faster, not more faster, just faster. That more is definitely a mistake. Okay. It's faster than car, train, or boat, especially for overseas traveling. Going by plane is the first choice because it only takes several hours. Okay. Now make sure you don't get lost on just that idea, but relate it to the benefits of that are more than the benefits to, or not having that is a more negative than the benefits to the environment. Okay. Lan says, thanks for the example. It's so useful for me. I'm trying to achieve my goal. Lan, you're very, very welcome. I'm sure you will. Just keep studying. Jaspreet says, is it good to use ironically? Yeah, it is. It's definitely good to use here because the irony is in the air travel itself. Air Canada is Canada's airplane company. And if you look at Air Canada's history, yep, it's true. Air Canada has had financial difficulty. I don't know if it's because people aren't flying as much, but they have. And then the Canadian government said, we'll help you. We'll just sell some fish, some trees, some fresh water. Okay. All right. So body 2 is the experience, right? And then again, you can reflect the environment. Okay. So you can say something like, although flying less reduces the amount of carbon footprints by burning less jet fuel, it also greatly reduces the international experiences of people. Okay? So if people, or when people, let's make it a real condition here, and this is my explanation. When people choose to travel locally and to have Zoom meetings, instead of face-to-face, they do not gain valuable cultural experiences and have let me just make sure I'm not going off with my grammar here. So when people choose to travel locally and to have Zoom meetings instead of face-to-face, they do not gain valuable cultural experiences and business networking. Okay, so that could be a good explanation. Again, you're not writing a university essay here. It just has to be good enough for a band 8, band 9, have some clear ideas, and then an example, right? And again, if I can connect that with the environment somehow, then that's just going to make my argument that much stronger, right? So my example here is by visiting the Amazon jungle, about a 10-hour flight from Canada, a person can be inspired for natural conservation, which would not happen otherwise. Okay. So that's my example here. So basically I'm saying that by flying and by gaining that cultural experience, we can actually be inspired to help nature, to help. So the positive of that outweighs the negative of the pollution caused by the flight. Okay, so and I can even state that. So state the obvious, right? Just like I said before, ultimately, losing this benefit could be worse for the environment than the pollution caused by the flight. Right? You can state the obvious, sure. Okay. All right, now again, I'm going to review this body paragraph. So although flying less reduces the amount of carbon footprint by burning less jet fuel, it also greatly reduces, I've got a lot of word repetition here, less reduces, less jet fuel reduces. Let's fix some of that, right? So although taking fewer flights decreases the amount of carbon footprint by burning less jet fuel, it also greatly reduces the international experience of people. Okay, that reads better. Way less repetition there. When people choose to travel locally, comma, and have Zoom meetings instead of face-to-face, they do not gain valuable cultural experiences and business networking. By visiting the Amazon jungle, about a 10 with a dash hour flight from Canada, a person can be inspired for natural conservation. We don't need natural conservation, just conservation, which may not happen otherwise. Ultimately, comma, ultimately losing this benefit could be worse for the environment than the pollution caused by the flight. Okay, sure. Now it's good. Lots of corrections. That's what you want to do. Okay. All right. I think everybody's really intensely paying attention because I see the chat has slowed down quite a bit. But I am keeping an eye on it. So let's, just keep going, keep pushing forward. Okay. All right. Now comes the conclusion. Here we go. Okay. In conclusion, the conclusion is simply the main points restated, the argument strengthened, and a take-home message. Okay, watch how it works. So the points restated. In conclusion, reducing the number of flights may lead to less carbon and noise emissions. But ultimately, sorry, there we go, frog in my throat, may reduce noise emissions, but also reduces, I keep using this word reduce, I don't like it, but also leads to loss of time and experience. Okay, so it's my points restated. Okay. So in conclusion, reducing the number of flights may lead to less carbon and noise emissions, but also leads to loss of time and experience. I believe these assets are more precious than the nature which can be saved by flying fewer times each year. Now here I'm switching to first person. I want to make sure that I have that somewhere. Yeah, I have it in the introduction right here. I believe these benefits, right? Okay. And then notice how in my essay I've said that, ultimately flying actually can help nature in some ways by, for instance, creating environmental awareness, right? So it is important to note that by saving time and providing experience, nature can also benefit. Okay, so that's my take-home message in this case. And then I have my essay. Now, when you practice this at home, always check your word count. So here I'm going to do just that. See where I'm at. Okay. What do you think, students? How many words? Just for fun. What do you think? How many words did that essay end up being? Juan says 420. No, overestimated. Hitesh says 356. Jaspreet says 280. You're pretty close. Let me just check it one more time just to be on the safe side, but you're pretty close. Yeah. So this also kind of tells you that it's the right technique. This is 297. 297. And it would be about a band 829. Okay? Yeah. So right around 300, 297, which is exactly what you're aiming for. That about roughly 20% over the minimum. Okay? I'm not going to do a PDF. Somebody was asking me if you've Raz, but I will post this on our YouTube channel. Okay, thank you for the birthday wishes, Alexander. I've run out of time, students, but tomorrow I'm back with speaking practice. For those of you who are premium users, we've got reading and speaking. Next week and the week after, I'm on vacation, so we'll only have one YouTube and one premium class for the upcoming 2 weeks. And then back to full steam come August, start of August. Thank you for the birthday wishes, everyone. For those of you who knew I have a birthday, yes, it was actually yesterday, and it was fantastic. I had a really lovely dinner with my family, so thank you. Tatiana, I've just turned 45, but I feel like I'm 27. Maybe it's all the running. Okay, again, if you want more, if you want to see more, do more, click the big red button, aehelp.com, or general IELTS, gltshelp.com. Click the big red button there. Okay. There we go. Students, I'm back tomorrow again with more speaking. Until then, practice. Hey, maybe if you have a chance, write the opposite. Write for the benefits to the environment outweigh the negatives for humans and business. Try that one. All right. Have a great rest of your day and enjoy life. Enjoy every moment. That's the key to staying young, and it's the fountain of youth. Much love to all of you, wherever you are in the world today. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. Bye for now, everyone.